We're actually switching the order of committees going forward, so Physical Services will now be first, followed by Administrative Services. So at this time, I'd like to call the Physical Services Committee meeting for March 15, 2021 to order. Please call the roll.
Counselor Hill.
Here.
Counselor Burridge.
Here.
Counselor Walker.
Here.
Counselor Gozick.
Here.
Could I have a motion to approve the minutes of our March 1st, 2021 meeting? Counselor Burridge, Counselor Walker.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Burridge.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Gozick.
Yes.
Is there any old business to come before this committee? Seeing none, we'll move on to new business under communication. Item number 1, the city attorney and city engineer join in seeking approval to formally extinguish a portion of Hamilton Street, a paper street, located on lands owned by Bosco and Gears and currently used as a portion of their parking lot. Mr. Caracoli?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's the most fun you'll have all night, right, Counselor Gozick?
Oh, what, do we get a history lesson?
Just the history, yeah. So this is Hamilton Street, obviously is an established street in the city of Oswego, but there is at least a portion of it, well, actually a few blocks of it, that were paper streets and never developed. One of the portions of the street runs through what's now called Hamilton Homes. And another portion of it runs through the parking lot of Bosco and Gears. And in doing title research for it, the attorney for the Bosco family uncovered this, and they're looking to do some financing and other things related to the property, and it needs to be cleared up because it's a cloud on their title to have a paper street running through their driveway, and more importantly, or their parking lot, but more importantly, there are no utilities or other infrastructure improvements that run through the parking lot. So your choice, you don't have to do anything, but the request is being made to, similar to Road Street, over in I think Councilor Gozick's ward, is looking to extinguish that portion of Hamilton Street, which is a paper street, and then the city would convey that strip of land to the property owner who's been using it for better part of 50 years or more, and then that would take care of it. The seller, the consideration would be similar again to Road Street. It's $1, but the purchaser, in this case the Bosco family, would be responsible for all costs associated with that. So I did check with Mr. Hinderleiter and Mr. Kells. There are no infrastructure that's been placed in the ground, at least as far as the records that we were able to uncover show. And there are no future plans to do that. If there were a plan to put infrastructure in, it would go along the side of East Avenue. So with that, unless there are questions, the motion at this case would be to approve the extinguishment of that portion of Road Street, and then we'd take it from there, from deed conveyances and all the rest of it.
Okay. Would this process require 2 consecutive councils, or is this separate from?
This is a great question. This is a little different. That's for the abandonment of a road. Because this was never a road, it was a paper street. It was never developed as such. Then, if the city declares their right, title, and interest extinguished, and that's the key, extinguished as opposed to abandoning, right? Then you're able to do it this way, and you bypass the 2 consecutive years.
Okay, great. Any questions for Councilor Caracoli? Councilor Plunkett.
Councilor Hill, I got a call from Teresa Himes 2 weeks ago explaining just what Mr. Caracoli just explained, and she was hoping the council would vote favorably in this issue.
Great. Any questions? Other comments? Okay, could I have a motion, please? Councilor Burridge, Councilor Walker.
Counselor Cordino.
Oh, other committee, Physical Services?
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Burridge.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Gozick.
Yes.
Item number 2, Bruce Krolikowski, owner of a single-family dwelling known as 163.5 East Bridge Street, requests use of public space in order to construct a new front porch landing and stairs between the sidewalk and property line. Mr. McGinn?
Mr. Krulikowski actually has his house up for sale and is in the process of selling it. In doing so, the new buyer's financing has required new front porch and steps on there. And if you look at the map that you have there, property lines along Bridge Street are right along the front of the actual houses. So anything extending beyond that's in public space. He's asking for a small portion of that for a 3x3 landing and a set of stairs that run east-west to meet the needs to be able to move forward with the sale of the house.
Great. Counselor Burridge?
I took a look at that. Is there any other parking other than what he has out front? Is that the only parking lot he has?
I believe that is it.
Now, if we come out with that porch, is that gonna affect the parking there that he's gonna be on the sidewalk? I took a look at it today, I see that he had the for sale sign, and I was like, well, that's a pretty big house.
It is a big house with very little space, as most of those on Bridge Street.
What's your opinion on that?
Being that with that short of parking, I mean, it's not going to be able to be a rental because of the lack of parking. The fact that it's not had much parking, I mean, he actually, if you looked at there's a front door there
I did see that.
with no porch to exit the house on the front of that. I believe that he has it closed off inside, but the new buyer is requesting that be opened up, so it would require an exit.
So does the new buyer understand that it could not be used as a rental? Is that understood by the parties? Because I don't think that's a bad thing, that it's going to have to be like a single-family home, or?
I have
Owner
not
occupied?
talked to the buyer. I can
Okay.
reach out to Mr. Krulikowski and convey that to him to make sure that the buyer does know that it cannot be a rental for that reason.
I think it seems like maybe a positive unintended consequence.
I kinda was excited when he said that.
Yeah, so that's good to know.
Yep.
Any questions for Mr. McGinn? Okay, could I have a motion, please? Counselor Burridge, Counselor Gozick.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Burridge.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Gozick.
Yes.
Item number 3, the Department of Public Works received a request from Laura Brazak on behalf of the Dawn Ladies for use of public space and a waiver of the noise ordinance in order to host a fundraiser event at Brightbeck Park on Saturday, August 21st, from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Does anyone have any questions on this? Mr. Emmons is here from, this isn't actually his event. This is just a simple pavilion request. His event is next. No questions? Okay.
Yeah.
Counselor?
Not that it has any bearing on your decision for this committee. Do we know what Dawn represents?
I am not familiar with the group. Counselor, do you, Laura Brazak, the group that she's representing?
Do I know what the group is?
What they,
It's the Democratic Action Women's Network.
Say that again.
Democratic Action Women's Network.
All right, thank you.
All right, any other questions? Okay, could I have a motion, please? Counselor Gozick, Counselor Walker.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Burridge.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Gozick.
Yes.
Item number 4, the Special Events Committee, through the Office of Economic Development, received a request from Julie Chetney on behalf of the Oswego County Autism Task Force to organize the Outrun Autism 5K event to be held on May 1st, 2021. We do have Mr. Emmons here from the Economic Development Office, if there are any questions. Recurring event and, a very well-received event and well-organized event. Any questions? Okay, could I have a motion, please? Counselor Walker, Counselor Gozick.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Burridge.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Gozick.
Yes.
Is there any other business to come before this committee? Seeing none, I'll take a motion to adjourn. Counselor Burridge, Counselor Walker.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Burridge.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Gozick.
Yes.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to open the Administrative Services Committee meeting for Monday, March 15th. Please call the roll.
Counselor Cordino.
Here.
Counselor McBrearty. Counselor Hill.
Here.
Counselor Plunkett.
Here.
Counselor Burridge.
Here.
Is there any old business? Seeing none? Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the committee meeting held March 1st, 2021. Counselor Hill, Counselor Plunkett.
Counselor Coردino.
Yes.
Counselor McBurdy.
Yes.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett.
Yes.
Counselor Burge.
Yes.
Item number 1 under communication. Mayor William J. Barlow Jr. requests authorization to sign an agreement with Camden Group regarding the Oswego Water Plant. Mr. Mayor?
Thank you. About 3 years ago, we brought Camden Group, who since 2016 has managed our 2 wastewater facilities, into the water treatment plant. Former plant manager Brian Fulbright had retired, and he actually held the license required to run the plant, so we needed somebody who held that license. We brought in Camden Group to help improve operations and help manage the staff, but also hold that license for us to keep our water plant in service. So fast forward to now, we're just extending the agreement another year. We anticipate one of our staff members, experienced staff members at the plant, will have their license that we can use about a year from now. So we think if we extend this agreement one more year with Camden Group, that can get us to where we need to be next year. The only change for this agreement is in price, and it's about $200 more a month, which, after talking to staff, seems appropriate given the last agreement was some 3 years ago.
All right, thank you. Any questions from the council on this one? Public? Seeing none, can I have a motion, please? Counselor Burridge, Counselor Plunkett.
Counselor Coordino.
Yes.
Counselor McBurdy.
Yes.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett.
Yes.
Counselor Burge.
Yes.
And who will be providing this resolution?
Who do we want to provide this resolution? The wastewater staff will.
Thank you.
Item number 2. Mayor William J. Barlow Jr. requests authorization to enter into a 6-month lease agreement with Camelot Lodge LLC for a COVID-19 rapid testing site located at 201 West First Street. Mr. Mayor?
Back in early February, the state contacted me about what they call the New York Forward Initiative. This was an initiative kicked off early in their new year, where the state wants to put up multiple rapid testing sites all throughout New York State as the economy begins to reopen and businesses have their restrictions eased and more things like movie theaters and arts and entertainment and restaurants begin to reopen. So this is an important component of the state's reopening strategy. So they reached out to identify strategic locations throughout central New York to put these rapid testing centers. And the idea is it's to encourage people to go out and be comfortable again back in shops, restaurants, and entertainment venues. So people can either get tested before they go out, and if they have a rapid test, they get the results in 15 to 30 minutes. So they are encouraged to go get tested before they go out so that they can obviously find out if they're positive or negative for COVID. If they're positive, we know what happens then, and we prevent them from going out and spreading COVID. And if they want to come get a test after a night out or a day out shopping or wherever, they can come in and some days later and be reassured that they test negative. So it's just more accessibility to COVID rapid tests in the city as we begin to reopen. So the state wanted a location in the core downtown area. We initially looked at municipal space. I didn't think the basement here at City Hall was an appropriate location, but we did float out a municipal building like the McRobey building. Obviously, that's being used for vaccine clinics now, and it just seemed out of the way, so the state wasn't really pleased with that. They wanted more downtown, so we had a couple locations in mind. The bank building at West First and Bridge was my first choice, and then the second is this location here, which is where the old taco shop used to be on West First Street, so it's currently vacant. The bank building was ruled out by the state because it has carpet floors. They want hardwood floors, so we settled on this location. The owner of the storefront is Camelot Lodge. The rent they were charging before was between $2,500 and $3,000 for that storefront. We've negotiated a price for a 6-month lease at $1,500 a month, so it's $9,000 total. The city will pay for the lease, and then the state hires the lab group to come in, administer the tests, get the results, and handle all the paperwork associated. So we think it's a nice three-way agreement, and I think it shows Oswego residents that you can come out and safely dine and support small businesses, and also shows the small business community we're doing whatever it takes to reopen as quickly and safely as we can, and supporting them all the way as we've done so far. So makes sense to me, and I think it'll be helpful to the folks downtown.
All right, thank you. Any questions from the council? Councilor Walker?
Yes, is this gonna be, when you go in there and get tested, is it gonna be charged to the person, or is it gonna be through the revenue?
The New York Forward Initiative outlines that the cost of a test will not exceed $30, and that all depends on the region in New York and the price, and that's negotiated between the state and the lab, what they charge per test. So I don't know at this time what the test charge will be to people walking in, but you know, it'll be low cost like every other testing facility is.
Any other questions for the mayor, from the council, from the public? Seeing none, can I have a motion, please? Councilor McBrearty, Councilor Burridge.
Counselor Cordino?
Yes.
Counselor McBrearty?
Yes.
Counselor Hill?
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett?
Yes.
Counselor Burridge?
Yes.
And who will be providing this resolution?
City Attorney.
Thank you.
Item number 3, Mayor William J. Barlow Jr. requests authorization to renew a 12-month retainer agreement with Step 1 Creative for management and the use of the city website. Mr. Mayor?
This is a 1-year extension of the existing contract, no changes, and that includes no changes in the price.
And just for transparency, the price is $500 a month.
$500 a month.
All right. Any questions? Anybody? Seeing none, can I have a motion, please? Councilor Plunkett, Councilor McBrearty.
Counselor Cordino?
Yes.
Counselor McBrearty?
Yes.
Counselor Hill?
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett?
Yes.
Counselor Burridge?
Yes.
Item number 4, the Oswego City County Youth Bureau requests authorization for the mayor to sign the annual agreements regarding the youth center, skate park, and youth development state aid.
So these are contracts that are in the city budget. They're between the City of Oswego and the Oswego YMCA and the City of Oswego and the County of Oswego.
Has anything changed?
Not really, just maybe, nothing's changed since the budget, no.
Okay. And we do this every year?
Yep.
From what I remember, so it's pretty standard bookkeeping. Any questions for Mr. Chetney? From the council, from the public? Can I have a motion then? Counselor Hill, Counselor McBrearty.
Counselor Cordino?
Yes.
Counselor McBrearty?
Yes.
Counselor Hill?
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett?
Yes.
Counselor Burridge?
Yes.
Thank you. Item number 5, the engineering office requests authorization for the mayor to sign change order number 4 with John R. Dudley Construction Company for the East Side Wastewater Treatment Plant Electrical and SCADA Upgrades EFC project in the amount of $8,035.41. Mr. Hinderletter?
So, here we go. We got a whole little series of them. We'll take them one at a time because there's not necessarily a connection between them. But this one, this work is actually already completed. So this was a lintel that was in the entry door that after they got the ceiling demolished and they got in to see it was rotten. So this is actually work that was completed back in July, and we're just kind of doing cleanup paperwork right now by time the contractor got their paperwork in order. So you'll see that a number of these are from September or from a little bit back, and that's mainly due to just paperwork, getting it all finalized. So this is a legitimate change order, one that until you get it open, you don't know what's wrong, and so now that's been fixed.
All right, thank you. Any questions from the council? Public? Seeing none, can I have a motion, please? Counselor Plunkett, Counselor Hill.
Counselor Cordino?
Yes.
Counselor McBrearty?
Yes.
Counselor Hill?
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett?
Yes.
Counselor Burridge?
Yes.
Item number 6, The engineering office requests authorization for the mayor to sign change order number 5 with John R. Dudley Construction Company for the East Side Wastewater Treatment Plant Electrical and SCADA Upgrades EFC project in the amount of $17,348.75. Mr. Hindeletter?
I know Kevin said that you were having the most fun with his, but I'm sure these are more fun. So this one is related to the switchgear building, so we have a new building behind the sewer treatment plant where all of our electrical switchgear is. In case, I don't know if you've ever wandered through that facility before this change, but all that equipment used to be inside, and you literally had about a foot between you and the wall to walk by. It was a very bad situation. Should that equipment fail and someone's working on it, you need to have certain clearances to meet code. So that was why this building was put up. Once they started construction, they had done borings beforehand to try to determine what kind of foundation they needed. As we know that plant, while it processes our sewer, it also is a place where great rocks are born. And every project that we do over there, we hit lots of rock. And unfortunately, this is one of the realities of working there. And once they got the ground opened up, the original foundation design wasn't going to work. And so what you'll see in here are a couple pieces. One is a claim for rental equipment, where an excavator came to do the work and had to sit and wait until things changed. And so there's a little bit of an equipment charge because of the field condition while the design was redone. And the rest is the result of having to redesign the foundation and the additional cost for the foundation.
All right, thank you. Any questions from the council? From the public? Seeing none, can I have a motion, please? Councilor McBurney, Councilor Hill.
Counselor Coordino.
Yes.
Counselor McBurney.
Yes.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett.
Yes.
Counselor Burge.
Yes.
Item number 7. The engineering office requests authorization for the mayor to sign change order number 6 with John R. Dudley Construction Company for the East Side Wastewater Treatment Plant Electrical and SCADA Upgrades EFC project in the amount of $5,833.55. Mr. Hindeletter?
So this one is when they redid the roof on the building, and they got the old roof off, found additional holes that needed to be plugged that you couldn't just roof over. And so there's some additional repairs that weren't picked up. With that, they also found one of the roof leaders was cross-connected into, it should go to a storm system if it was going into sanitary. So we had to kind of reconfigure that stuff while the roof was there. So that's what we see. And then there's actually a $1,600 door credit that based on what they spec'd one type of door and bid that door, but we were able to use a different style hinge. And so we actually got a credit back on that to use a different style hinge to go into the minutia.
And this was a total of, okay, yeah, there's going to be one more after this, I see. Okay.
Yep.
Any questions for Mr. Hindeletter from anybody? Seeing none, can I have a motion, please? Councilor McBurney, Councilor Hill.
Counselor Coordino.
Yes.
Counselor McBurney.
Yes.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett.
Yes.
Counselor Burge.
Yes.
All right. Item number 8, I believe, right? Yeah, we're at 8. We're moving right along. The engineering office requests authorization for the mayor to sign change order number 7 with John R. Dudley Construction for the East Side Wastewater Treatment Plant Electrical and SCADA Upgrades EFC project in the amount of $19,291.95.
So this one is more substantial. This was a larger problem. So like I said, we moved all this equipment out of the facility. Part of that was also reconfiguring the equipment within the facility. And so we created a new MCC room, an area where all the main control breakers for the equipment are. After we got that in, we noticed that there was liquid dripping from the ceiling onto the new equipment. And we started to figure out where that was coming from. And what we found was that the liner that was underneath the centrifuge in the East Side plant was leaking. And so then it became, do we want this dripping on brand new equipment? Absolutely not. And so it's one of those things, you open that can until you fix it. And so it took us a while to kind of trace where the leak was coming from and couple attempts to isolate it and get it done. So it is fixed, it's done. The centrifuge basin has been rehabbed and sealed. So the total of that, like the counselor said, was $19,291.95.
Quick question, this leak, it was in the liner of the basin, and was this work that was recently done on this, or is this?
No, it's considerably old. It's like the epoxy floor that you would put in your garage. It's a similar product, and so it had been on there for a number of years, and it was just one of those where at the corner it had cracked, and that's a cold joint in the concrete, and once it gets in there, it kind of wanders until it finds its way out. And so we saw the leak here, but it was started over there. So it's one of those, until we really had to shut it down, tear everything apart, get things ground off and exposed, and start just, okay, we think there's a crack, we'll seal it, flood it, oh, we're still leaking, seal it, flood it. And so it was a iterative process to find which one was the culprit.
All right, thanks for clearing that up.
Sure.
So I totaled it up, and these are 4 changes for the East Side Wastewater Treatment Plant. That brings the total contract for this project to $2,047,903.68.
Mm-hmm.
That's, I just want to make sure that's in the public record. Anybody have any questions or concerns on this one? Seeing none, can I have a motion, please? Counselor Plunkett, Counselor McBurney.
Counselor Coردino.
Yes.
Counselor McBurney.
Yes.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett.
Yes.
Counselor Burridge.
Yes.
Item number 9, the engineering office requests authorization for the mayor to sign change order number 9 with Patricia Electric Incorporated for the asset management improvement project in the amount of $1,691.25. Mr. Hindletter?
So this is a credit, and what this credit is for, once the new electrical service was installed, you have to switch circuits to get everything over into the new system to keep the facility operating. Jacobs had originally planned to pay the contractor to bring a portable generator in and get it hooked up to do that. Patricia Electric came up and said, we already have a standby generator. With a little bit of work, we can use it as the generator. And so they did that, so we did not have to bring in another generator since we have one sitting there. And so this is a credit for not having to mobilize another generator.
This is good news.
This is.
Any comments or concerns from the council? Public? Seeing none, can I have a motion, please? Counselor Burridge, Counselor Hill.
Counselor Coردino.
Yes.
Counselor McBurney.
Yes.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett.
Yes.
Counselor Burridge.
Yes.
Okay, item number 10, Police Chief Phil Cady requests discussion regarding the upgrade to the current TASER electroshock system and permission for the mayor to enter into a 5-year contract with Axion. Police Chief Cady?
This is a bonus. I thought I was number 11, so I guess it worked out. So as I kind of peel the onion back, as I have taken over this position, I found that certain equipment needs to be upgraded, and you can see that over the last year we've done that. This is our tasers, our stun guns, for lack of a better term, or non-lethal option for the officers. All the uniform officers carry them. Some of them are being carried today are circa 2004 when they were originally purchased. Axon, the company who owns Taser, also our body cameras, they only provide liability insurance through their company for 5 years after original purchase. So some of our units are 15, 16 years old. They need to be updated. They're in the rain. They're in the elements. So this contract will provide 24 new tasers for all the uniformed officers, and payments are worked out over a 5-year period, similar to the other contracts we've signed.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for the chief on this one? From the public? No? Okay, can I have a motion, please? Counselor Plunkett, Counselor McBurney.
Counselor Coردino.
Yes.
Counselor McBurney.
Yes.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett.
Yes.
Counselor Burridge.
Yes.
Item number 11, Mayor William J. Barlow Jr. requests an executive session for discussion regarding pending yacht club litigation. Can I have a motion to go into executive session? Counselor Hill, Counselor Plunkett.
Counselor Coordino.
Yes.
Counselor McBurney. Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett. Counselor Burridge.
Yes.